Hey guys, Tivo2 here with a new tutorial on how to make the TARDIS from Doctor Who in Minecraft. There's been many tutorials on this over the years. My design, I feel, is one of the more complex ones that actually has a tutorial for it. I basically just combined elements of many tutorials over the years. So this, I feel, is a very interesting TARDIS. So let us begin. Just choose your spot. Just stand somewhere, and what you're going to need to do is summon an armor stand exactly like this with CustomNameVisible, and it can be named TARDIS or really whatever, but that's what I'm going to call it. Summon new TARDIS, there it is. Very nice. This armor stand basically forms the crux of the entire project. It's very important. Now there is more to this that we can add, which is mostly cosmetic, but really all you need is an armor stand, preferably with the custom name, so that any commands targeting it will target it and not the other armor stands in the world. So other things we can add is Invisible, :1, and Invulnerable, :1, and I believe those should work. And now, yeah, it's invisible, and yeah, I can't hit it either because it's invulnerable, and it won't die in lava or anything. This, I believe, is the best way to do this. So here is our TARDIS, effectively. So for basically everything else, you're going to need command block. So just type in the command to give you a command block. And this is also very, very, very important. So the next thing we need to do is actually choose a place to build the interior of our TARDIS. As you know, the TARDIS is larger inside than out, so the interior area of it is going to have to be somewhere preferably hidden so that it kind of keeps the illusion. I'm going to do it really far in the sky. So let's see, how far up are we? Let's go maybe like 200. It really doesn't matter too much where you go. So yeah, let's do that, and then in order to get blocks to be up here, stone. So here is kind of the foundation of our TARDIS interior, high above the ground preferably, so it can't really be seen. So yeah, you just gotta start building, design an interior. I will construct something very simple, and I'll be back once I'm done with that. Okay, so I've returned. This is basically the basics of what you need, really. Just a room, which obviously needs a roof and more walls and just overall decoration, but yeah, you need some sort of doorway. Doesn't really have to be blue, but like that's the color of the TARDIS. And then somewhere for your controls to go, preferably a central console like there is on the show. So yeah, we just kind of began that. The first thing I will cover is this. So for exiting the TARDIS and entering, in fact, you're going to need the doorway, obviously. And behind it you need a command block with pressure plates, and then one good thing to add is something, preferably just kind of a black color, to just kind of block it off so you don't really see the outside. Bedrock wouldn't be my first choice, but I just kind of placed that. So what you want this command block to say is TP at P to at E name equals TARDIS. And I'd imagine you need limit equals 1 or something. And theoretically, when we step on this, it should teleport us outside. Boom, to the exterior of our TARDIS. Perfect. That's the first part that we really need. The next part is getting the armor stand itself to teleport us into the TARDIS. So what I'm going to do is head back up to this interior, and not inside of it, but rather outside, kind of just build a platform, because you don't want all your circuitry showing on the inside, and just place a command block on repeat, always active, and there is a command we are going to need to type here, which I will show. Okay, so the command you need to type is as follows. Okay, so the command you need to type is quite long, so I'll just show you execute if entity at p. And all this means is that they have a gold nugget, which is in their offhand, which has the name TARDIS Key in their inventory. And if so, we need to put a comparator here and this here, and then execute at e name equals TARDIS limit equals 1, run TP at P, and then what we need now is the coordinates of the interior. Just this block here. Take the coordinates basically in any way you see fit. I've just copied and pasted it from a setBlock command. And those are the coordinates of the interior of the TARDIS. And so basically what these two commands do is when we hold a gold nugget called TARDIS Key, we will be transported into the interior of the TARDIS. That's how we'll get in using that armor stand effectively. So now, it can literally be anything. It doesn't have to be a gold nugget in any stance. That's just my preferred thing, because it kind of ish resembles a key. Either that or a iron nugget are usually my choice. So as you can see, if we were to go down to the main exterior, how do we get into the TARDIS? Well, put this in our offhand and we are teleported inside. And obviously, like I said, we can teleport back outside very simply. And then back in. So you see, that's not a bad setup, honestly. I like it because it allows us to only go in if you hold the key, so you can kind of give permission to people whether they can come in or not. And one command I'm going to run real quick is gamerule commandBlockOutput false, and that'll just make it to where it's not going to tell us that we teleported each time we teleport. So you can see, I'll just show that off. Yeah, it's a bit smoother now, which is nice. So the next thing I'd like to program on this TARDIS is make the exterior actually look like something, because at the moment it is literally just an invisible armor stand, just a floating name tag effectively. And the command I like to use for this is execute at e name equals TARDIS limit equals 1. So execute at that armor stand, run, summon, falling block, which effectively just, it's the same thing as when like sand is falling. It effectively is actually an entity, not a block, so you'll effectively just get blocks that are not real blocks effectively. And the good thing about this is they instantly despawn, but the command will keep spawning them if we turn it to repeat at least. So the idea is that if we just do that and then head back down, which I guess we could have just walked outside the door, but now it is summoning constantly this, see, I can't even punch it. It's not a real block of sand, and I can walk right through it. The idea is that you can also make it look like any block of your choosing to make the exterior TARDIS, and I will show you how to do that now. So you want to write BlockState, name, and then your block, blue terracotta, just to match the doorway we made. And then what I am actually going to do additionally is copy this and place another one, and then just do one, just so that now there are 2 blocks and it can be 2 blocks tall. So if we walk outside, now the TARDIS is made up of these blocks, and you can see it's kind of jittering a little. That's what falling sand does a little bit, but you can see it's just like a ghost block you can walk right through, and yeah, you can make whatever you want really using that same method. Just place more of these blocks and eventually you will have a fully fledged TARDIS. So the next thing I would like to cover is actually making this TARDIS do things and move around. So coming back to our central console, this is where you're going to want all of your circuitry. However, I'm not going to do what others do, which is like place the blocks, the command blocks directly on the console itself, but rather I am going to kind of build my console however I would like, and then I'm going to do it a little differently than usual. Let's get some controls like buttons and levers and whatnot. Just place them haphazard. You can even use comparators in my design, which you can't with some others. And a personal favorite of mine is using repeaters, and you will see why in a moment. And then I usually leave the central block open because the TARDIS generally has, and then in the center I'll usually just place some form of glass or something to replicate the central time rotor on the console. So if you're wondering, like, how am I gonna do anything with these controls if they are not connected to anything, but I have developed kind of a wireless system. So let's go like back here, for example, and build another of these exterior platforms, which is where you're going to want your controls. So let's just say that we want, to travel in time using this repeater. So what I would do is take its coordinates, place a command block, which is on repeat. We do execute if block at those coordinates repeater delay equals 1, and then we'll just say run time set 0, and then we could do like another right next to it, and basically let's just copy this over, and if the delay is 2, it'll be like time set noon or something, and then we could do another that's like delay 3, time set night, and then finally another. If the delay is at 4, then the time will be set to midnight. So how about that? Let's see if this works. Okay, so if we click this, it should change the time. Oh yeah, it's working perfectly. You can see it'll do this, and it'll cycle back around to daytime. That is awesome. So now our TARDIS is perfectly capable of changing the time. That is a very cool function right there. Now as for the TARDIS being able to actually move around somewhere, that is the next part. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll execute if the block at the coordinates here. So take the coordinates of the button, like so. Remove all this. Control C. Okay. So we execute at the block at those coordinates. If the block is stone button powered true, then it will run the command TP at E name equals TARDIS limit equals 1. It will TP that TARDIS to the coordinates from the first TARDIS location. And then what we want to do is go to another button and we're going to do something very similar. What we will do is take another command block, and with this one we are going to want to replace the original coordinates with our new ones for the button, and then we're going to make that one, when we press it, teleport the TARDIS somewhere different. This river over here. So we could go take the coordinates right next to this river, and we place them into the command block. Now, we should have a fully working system. So if we click this, theoretically we can go outside, nothing will have seemingly changed. We go back up, we press this button on the other hand, we go outside, and hey, it worked! We are now by the river. So, our TARDIS can now go places. So that, my friends, is my tutorial how to make the TARDIS in Minecraft. There is a lot more possibilities with this that you can do. For example, you could do a system where you can basically choose what you want the exterior TARDIS to look like by basically having levers that power the command blocks that summon these falling sands. But yeah, these are the basics on how to make the TARDIS in Minecraft. I have been Tebow2. Goodbye.